of Krishna-Lila, because he gave Srimad Bhagavatam and he spread the knowledge of Krishna as the supreme deity. So then also for Lord Chaitanya's Lila, Mahaprabhu's Lila, then one may consider there is a Vyasa for Chaitanya-Lila. There is one who distributes the knowledge of Chaitanya-Lila. And so in this verse, Gurudev is saying that there's not just one Vyasa for Chaitanya, there's two. And so the verse is very beautiful. It's saying that Mahaprabhu, he's referred to in Srimad Bhagavatam as the Chana avatar. In one of Prahlad Maharaj's verses, he refers to the avatar for Kali Yuga as the Chana avatar. Chana means hidden. Because Mahaprabhu, he appears in a hidden way, because he's not appearing as God. He's appearing as a Oh, you have to go. Oh, okay. I'll talk to you. The person who asked the question is gone, so I've lost my my whole track, So Mahaprabhu, he's known as the hidden avatar, because he's not appearing like Krishna. Krishna's coming and saying, I'm God, and he's appearing as God, and people are worshipping him as God. But Mahaprabhu is appearing as a devotee, demonstrating to us how to approach Krishna. So he's hidden in that way, and it's interesting because like in Bengal, Mahaprabhu is quite famous, but he's not seen as the Lord, like God, like Krishna. Like if you go to Puri, you'll find big, statues of him in the street, but they worship him, or they celebrate him as a great saint. And today when I saw Ratna, she was telling me one of her relatives in Calcutta, he actually had some ordinary exam, part of his school examinations, and there were some questions on Mahaprabhu. Really? It's just he's so much part of the culture. He's seen as some people see him as a socialist, like a type of communist socialist, because he was revolutionary. He broke down all kinds of class barriers. So some persons worship him as a saint, others they celebrate him as this, revolutionary class, So he's just so much part of the culture, but they don't see him, they don't consider him as being in a godlike position. So his position is very hidden. Not everybody can appreciate him for what he is. So he's the hidden avatar. And so Gurudev, in this verse, he makes this very, very nice, description, this nice angle. He presents this nice angle, a vision, that because Mahaprabhu is the hidden avatar, then there may be a hidden Vyasa also. That there's not just the open, the revealed, there's the open and there's the revealed Vyasa, but there's also a hidden Vyasa. In other words, there's the Vyasa who distributes the knowledge of Mahaprabhu as a Yuga avatar who came to spread the holy name and to save the people. But then there's also a Vyasa who came to spread knowledge of that Swayam Bhagavan Mahaprabhu, the combined form of Radha and Krishna, who came for that internal purpose of tasting the mood of Srimati Radharani. So, because ordinarily, I don't know if you're familiar with this, but ordinarily, when Mahaprabhu appears, it's just a Yuga avatar. I say just, I'm so offensive. But means it's Vishnu avatar. It's not direct, it's not Krishna himself, but it's an avatar of Vishnu. And he's coming to spread the holy name, to spread the Yuga Dharma, the religion of the age. But then very very rarely, once in a day of Brahma, which is like 4 point something billion years, then in one of 1,000 cycles of the Chatur Yugas, the 4 cycles, the 4 Yugas, then in one of them, Krishna himself appears. Swayam Bhagavan Vrindavan Krishna himself appears. And so he's coming not just to spread the dharma of the age, to save the people, but he's coming also for his selfish purpose, mainly of wanting to experience the mood of Srimati Radharani. So there's these 2 layers going on here, and so Gurudev, he makes this nice point that this form of Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Sundar, he has his open pastimes, his public pastimes, and then he also has his internal lila, his internal tasting matter, as Gurudev said very nicely. So these are 2 angles with which Mahaprabhu can be appreciated. And so Vrindavan Das Thakur in Chaitanya Bhagavat, he's describing Mahaprabhu as a Yuga avatar, describing how he's spreading the holy name. And there's nothing there of that internal aspect of Radha Krishna combined. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is the public Vyas, the open, the revealed Vyas. And Kaviraj Goswami, he's describing, with such beautiful poetry, this more refined understanding of who Mahaprabhu is as the combined form of Shishi Radha Krishna, and Krishna with the heart and halo of Radharani, Radha Bhava Duti Subolitam, Nomi Krishna Srupam. Krishna adorned, enriched with the sentiments, with the feeling of Radharani and her golden effulgence, and coming to taste that internal mood of separation. So in this verse, Gurudev, it's so beautiful, these verses that he wrote. He describes that. And so he's giving his obeisance, his pranam to Vrindavan Das Thakur, who's the open, revealed, public Vyas, and then to Kaviraj Goswami, who's the hidden Vyas. And it's also very, very sweet because there's so many other references which make what Gurudev say here even more perfect, because in Vrindavan Das Thakur, he was the first Vyas, so he has some special honor. He was a generation before Kaviraj Goswami, and so he presented Chaitanya Bhagavat before. But in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's several places where Vrindavan Das Thakur, he says, I'm not the Vyasa of Chaitanya-Lila. In the future, Vyasadeva will come. He didn't know Kaviraj Goswami. They never met, But he says several times in his book, I'm not the one, I'm not the Vyas. But in the future, he will come, he will give much more than me. And then also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, in several places, Kaviraj Goswami, he's deferring to Vrindavan Das Thakur as his senior, saying, I'm not the Vyasa of Chaitanya-Lila. Vrindavan Das Thakur, he's the Vyasa of Chaitanya-Lila. And he's it's beautiful to see. It really shows the Vaishnava mood. Because if there's any pastime that Vrindavan Das Thakur is described in a lot of detail, then Kaviraj Goswami says, Vrindavan Das Thakur has already described this. I'm just going to give a tiny little synopsis. And then other things he'll describe in a lot of detail and say, because Vrindavan Das Thakur, he didn't have time to get to it. He says in one place, because Vrindavan Das Thakur spent so much time glorifying Nityananda Prabhu, because Vrindavan Das, he was a disciple of Nityananda. He's really fanatic about Nityananda Prabhu. So he spends a lot of time glorifying him. And so Kaviraj Goswami says, he spent so much time glorifying Nityananda, he didn't have so much time to get to Mahaprabhu, so some things were left out. So I'm giving more detail on those points, And it's very, very beautiful. There's one line where Kaviraj Goswami, he says, "Oh, you fools, like Muda Lok, like you asses, just read Chaitanya Bhagavat. There's nothing better to do with your time. This is the best book." And so he really gives like a lot of glorification to Vrindavan Das Thakur. And it's very sweet to see this exchange, and they both like refer to each other as the Vyasa Dev of Chaitanya-Lila. So then Gurudev harmonizes this so beautifully, saying that there's two Vyasas, of Chaitanya-Lila, because there's the manifest Lila and then there's the hidden Lila. So they both have their special post, And then also in that verse, Gurudev says, Dvo Nityananda Parabja Karuna Dena Bhushito, which is a very beautiful line, saying that both of them, this is another thing that unifies them, both of them are blessed with the merciful foot dust of Nityananda Prabhu. They both got special grace from Nityananda Prabhu. Vrindavan Das Thakur was the last disciple of Nityananda Prabhu, and he traveled with him, served him, and so they had a very special relationship. Vrindavan Das Thakur, he's described as being one of the, in Krishna Leelas, being one of the 12 principal cowherd boys who are, with Baladev. So he's like very, fanatic about Nityananda. He's in Sakya Ras. So he has this special relationship with Nityananda Prabhu. And then also Kaviraj Goswami, he never met, because he came a little later, he never met Nityananda Prabhu in person, but he got the special mercy of, everything kind of started with the mercy of Nityananda, because he was living in Bengal, and then that story when his brother made an offense to one of the main devotees of Nityananda Prabhu, and Kaviraj Goswami, he didn't stay quiet about it, but he spoke up and he said something to his brother, this isn't correct, if you can't, he said something like, better just be an atheist and don't believe in anything or anyone, don't believe in God at all, but to believe in Mahaprabhu and not believe in Nityananda Prabhu, this is even worse than being an atheist. So he speaks up, he's strong with his brother. And Nityananda Prabhu was pleased with him because of that. And so, and that night, Nityananda appeared to him in his dream. Or he had some vision. And there's a very beautiful description in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Gurudev, he loved that. When Tyagi Maharaj made that book, Nityananda Mahimamrita, Gurudev looked through and he told him, you should have included this section. So then Tyagi Maharaj made a second edition that he included. It's so beautiful. It describes Nityananda's this beautiful, intoxicated, divine being, and he's describes him as swaying back and forth, and he wearing all these silken fancy clothes, silken turbans and jewelry, and he's kind of intoxicated, chanting Krishna, Krishna, and all of his group of devotees are surrounding him like bumblebees. But my favorite description there is it compares his teeth to pomegranate seeds, because he's chewing pan. Normally, in India, when you see people chewing pan, it looks so gross. And their teeth just look nasty, But on Nityananda, he's chewing pan and his teeth are stained red, but it's something beautiful. It's not something gross. So that analogy of pomegranate seeds is so perfect, because pomegranates, they're red, but they're transparent also. They're translucent, so you can see the white seed underneath, and it's very shiny and very beautiful. And so I think it's just such a brilliant, poetic description. And so then Nityananda Prabhu, he tells him, go to Vrindavan, Hare Hare Krishna Das Nakaro Ho Boy, Vrindavana Jaha Taha Sarva Labhya Hoy. That don't be afraid, Krishna Das. You go to Vrindavan, you will get everything there. And so then when he wakes up, he remembers, this is very vivid in his mind, and he thinks, immediately, Nityananda has given me his order. And so then he went to Vrindavan, and there he met with Rup and Sanatan and all the devotees in Vrindavan. Especially Raghunath Das Goswami, he took shelter of Raghunath Das Goswami in particular. And then Raghunath Das Goswami, because it's a very interesting point, because Krishnadas Kaviraj, he actually never met Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu, but he's given the most profound revelation of who Mahaprabhu is. Even though, there were many biographies of Mahaprabhu written by persons who were eyewitnesses. But the most profound presentation that's been given by far, is incomparable, is been given by Kaviraj Goswami, who never even met Mahaprabhu, which is, it's a very wonderful point, that connection happened on a more subtle level. And so Raghunath Das Goswami, because, you think about it, most of Mahaprabhu's associates, they didn't know, who he was, that internal aspect. It was just a few, Swarup Damodar, and a few others knew. It was like something secret. So it was Kaviraj Goswami who revealed it, because Raghunath Das Goswami, he was he was a very close associate of Swarup Damodar, who was right next to Mahaprabhu. And Raghunath was in Puri for the last 16 years of Mahaprabhu's Leela. So Raghunath, he personally witnessed many things, and also he heard many things from Swarup Damodar. So Raghunath had a very deep understanding of who Mahaprabhu was. And then Raghunath, he conveyed that to Kaviraj Goswami. And so Kaviraj, it's interesting because, and it's another example of Vaishnavata, that many of the prominent Vaishnavas in Vrindavan, senior Vaishnavas who were much senior than Kaviraj Goswami, they've requested him to write something. It's so beautiful. They didn't have any ego, we're senior. But there's one, what was it, I think Haridas Pandit. Is his name Haridas? He was a disciple of Gadadhar Pandit. And there's a very nice, beautiful description of him. He was a manager of one temple, and nice description of his mood. And especially him, he was the leader of some group of Vaishnavas, and he and others, they especially requested Kaviraj Goswami, because they could see he has some special insight, he has this relationship with Raghunath, and so they could recognize he can give something new. So they especially requested him. And then in Adi Lila chapter 5 of Chaitanya Charitamrita, then Kaviraj Goswami, that chapter, it's mostly very technical. It's kind of heavy going. It's because it's describing the ontological position of Nityananda Prabhu as non-different from Baladev and the source of all the Vishnu avatars. So it's quite, heavy going. But then at the end of that chapter, there's a very beautiful description Kaviraj gives of how he personally got the mercy of Nityananda. So he's glorifying him from one angle, and then at the end he describes his personal experience and how Nityananda came to him and ordered him to go to Vrindavan, and so then Kaviraj Goswami, he says, I'm shy to say these things, please forgive me, I don't want to show off. But at the same time, I feel like I have to announce how merciful he's been, And he says, I came to Vrindavan and I got everything here. I got the mercy of Radha Govinda, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Gopinath. I got the mercy of Rup Sanatan, Raghunath Goswami. I got the mercy of all the Vaishnavas of Vrindavan. I've got everything. And then he goes on to say, but there's no credit to me. It's only by the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And then those famous verses there where where he says, I'm lower than a worm in stool, I'm more sinful than Jagai and Madai, Jagai Madai hoite mui se papishta, Purishera kito hoite mui se lagishta, Moranam shuneje, tar punya koi, Moranam loy, tar pap hoy. If you hear my name, you'll lose all of your punya. If you speak my name, you'll be ruined, like really extreme, you know. And then he says, you know, who else but Nityananda Prabhu could be merciful to somebody like me? And Preme Mata Nityananda, Kripa Avatar, you know that verse, right? Preme, very nice verse. Preme Mata Nityananda, Kripa Avatar, Uttam Adam Kichu Nakure Vichar. That Preme Mata means like maddened or intoxicated. Nityananda's Preme Mata. He's so intoxicated by prem. What happens when you're intoxicated? You lose your discrimination, you know. So Uttam, what is high, Adam, what is low, Nakore Vichar. He does not consider, you know. And Kripa Avatar, he's the avatar of Kripa, of mercy. So like he you know, and then it says, you know, if someone just falls in front of him, he gives his mercy to them. That's his program. You know? So I happened to come before him, and he gave his mercy to me. You know, otherwise, how would all of this be possible? So he has this very fervent, very deep appreciation for Nityananda Prabhu. This is the second part of the verse, of Gurudev's verse. I think it's 2 verses actually. It's the second verse. Gurudev says, Dvo Nityananda Padabja Karunadena Bushito. Bushito means decorated. I think I forgot to mention that. And Gurudev says that they are both, Kaviraj Goswami and Vrindavanas, they're both decorated with the merciful foot dust of Nityananda Prabhu. This is another thing they have in common. You know, they both got the special mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, you know, before they went to present something about Mahaprabhu. So it's also showing the proper approach, that you can't jump over Nityananda to go. First you have to have the mercy of Nityananda, then you can get the mercy of, then you can come to describe something about Mahaprabhu, get the mercy of Mahaprabhu, and so on and so forth. And then the last part, Shri Guru Gaur Gandharva Govindascha Ganaisaha Jayanti Patakas Chacha Sarvesham Kurunarchina. Like we are the students of Sri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat, aspiring for the mercy of Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar, or something like that, the last part. But yeah, I'd like to chant those verses, partly because they're Gurudev's original verses. And Gurudev, you know, he didn't give us so much. Gurudev's Sanskrit was brilliant, you know. But he, you know, with his humble mood, he didn't come out with as much as he could have, you know. Where he saw there was some opening, like something wasn't covered, then he would. Like he was mentioning once how he wanted to write a verse describing the kirtan of the kirtan scene of Mahaprabhu and all of his devotees, like in the ecstasy of kirtan. But then there's one very beautiful verse of Prabodhananda Saraswati. How does it begin? Nindantam. It's in here somewhere if I can find it. It's so beautiful. Nindantam pulakot kadena vikasham nipa persuna chavim. It's describing Mahaprabhu in the midst of the Panchatattva. No, it's in Navadvita Mahatmya. And how Mahaprabhu's, he's in ecstasy, he's crying, he's raising his arms, and his hairs are standing on end like kadamba flowers. That analogy is so beautiful, because you know kadamba flowers, and they have those golden spikes, and so there are a few places you see that comparison. Mahaprabhu's his hair is standing on end like kadamba flowers. And so Gurudev, he was saying I was thinking to write a verse describing this scene of Mahaprabhu, but then I saw Prabodhananda Saraswati already gave it so perfectly. And I was thinking, man, Gurudev, we'd like to see your verse, But, the Vaishnavas always have that kind of humility. If another Vaishnava's already covered something, then they don't want to step over. They don't want to, take away from their prestige, So Gurudev, he was holding back, but a few things, very unique things, like these verses. So I like to chant these verses because they're Gurudev's unique ones. And also, we're giving pranam to Kaviraj Goswami as the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's very nice, invoking all of their grace, a very nice way to begin. Well, we didn't get to Sharanagati, maybe tomorrow night. Yeah. But I'm happy you brought that up. It's very nice to discuss these verses. We need to make them, maybe we should print it out or something like that. Yeah. They're in that Nityananda Mahimamrita. I don't know if the full verses are there. I'll check. You know that book, right? That thin blue book? Yeah, I'm sure we have a copy here. The thin blue, it's called The Divine Glories of Nityananda Prabhu. Yeah, it's in, I don't know if the full 2 verses are there. I can check. But we can maybe print it out or put it somewhere. Anyway, nice to discuss. Okay. Well, I guess we can stop, right? Do you want to sing? Okay. And you're doing... Okay, I'll sing. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Jadavaya Namaha. 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 Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Giridhari Gopinata Madana Mohana. Giridhari Gopinata Madana Mohana. Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra. 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 Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha. Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunatha. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunatha. Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Rasa Raghunatha. Echai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana. Echai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana. Jaha hoite bhignana shabishta purana. Jaha hoite bhignana shabishta purana. Echai Gosai jar muitara dasa. Echai Gosai jar muitara dasa. Tansa bada padadenu mura panchagrasa. Tansa bada padadenu mura panchagrasa. Tadera charana sebi bhakta sanebasa. Tadera charana sebi bhakta sanebasa. Janame janame mohe abhilasha. Janame janame mohe abhilasha. Echai Gosai jabe
Braja Koilobasa Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Gorila Prakasha Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Majaya Mana Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kodi Asha Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Kodi Asha Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottama Dasa Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajakacharya Varya Ashtotar Shatashi Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jaya Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivajakacharya Varya Ashtotar Shatashi Srila Bhakti Lakshakshidhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Ki Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Saparshad Shrima Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Shri Navadip Dham Ki Jai Shri Ganga Jamuna Ki Jai Shri Bhakti Devi Vrinda Devi Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Shamakun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai Vishwavyapi Tadiya Shaka Mat Ki Jai Shri Kol Karta Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat London Chapter Ki Jai Jai Srila Bhakti Nirmala Acharya Maharaj Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Pavan Janardana Maharaj Ki Jai Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai Seva Vrinda Ki Jai all the devotees Ki Jai Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Boom. Okay.